Hey, my friends, thanks for checking out today's live stream. We've got an exciting topic to talk about today, which is how to know the truth, right? Um, Lots of deceptions going on, lots of illusions being put forth. We have the technology. God gave us the technology to know the truth. I'm going to fire up my other device here so I can get ready for comments when you share them. I've got a video to play, and then we're going to have hopefully a lively discussion. I always appreciate your comments. I was watching Jack Simone at u.don't.kno.jac on Instagram, and I'm going to play her video here shortly. Fantastic video. And then we're going to discuss about it. She's got a video from Jack Dorsey talking about, how to know the truth, how to discern the truth, right? I think it's phenomenal because we do have the technology. We do have the technology in our hearts and minds. Let me play this video and then we'll jump in. Let's see here. Okay, here we go.
So have you been feeling as if you have no idea what's even real anymore? You're not alone. So I'm going to share with you a clip of Jack Dorsey speaking about something eerily relevant to how we're all feeling today.
Don't trust verify. So even this talk, everything I've said, don't trust me. You have to experience it yourself. And you have to learn yourself. And this is going to be so critical as we enter this time in the next 5 years to 10 years, because the way that images are created, deep fakes, videos, you will literally not know what is real and what is fake. It'll be almost impossible to tell. It will feel like you're in a simulation because everything will look manufactured. Everything will look produced. And it's very important that you shift your mindset, or you attempt to shift your mindset, to verifying the things that you feel you need through your experience, through your intuition. Because all these devices in your bags, in your pockets, they're offloading from that image of the neuron I sent you. And because all these things are on your phone now, you're not building those connections in your brain anymore.
So let's break this down, shall we? Who has heard of mirror neurons? Your brain has what we call mirror neurons, and they fire off not only when you do something or when you see something, but when somebody else does something. What does that mean? It means that your mind is going to mirror anything that it absorbs, even if it's fake. So let's say you are exposed to a deep fake, well, your mind is going to process it as it's real. Mirror neurons are quite literally how we learn, how we empathize, and how we connect. They are how we perceive and then mirror back the world around us. So take that and now imagine a world where most of what you see is manufactured. I'm telling you the explanation as to why you think of something and then you see it on your phone. But I didn't even say that out loud. You didn't have to. Mirror neurons. Your thoughts, your feelings, your perception can very easily be hijacked when you are absorbing the illusions. And that is why discernment and intuition is the number one thing that you need to work on right now as the world becomes more illusionary. Because if you are relying solely on what is being shown to you, you will be programmed. But if you can stay aligned to that feeling in your gut, that compassion in your heart, that inner knowing that we all have, you will be able to see through the illusion. Are you responding in alignment? Or are you reacting out of emotion? Stop for 1 minute and just ask God, are these thoughts my own? Here's the thing, illusions can only control you when you forget the truth inside of you. And I'm going to say something that some of you might not like to hear, but I'm going to say it because I was there myself. It is so easy to become tethered to the illusions when you haven't stopped to really go in and meet yourself. We have entered a time where it is not going to be about seeing clearly. It is going to be about knowing divinely. So have you been feeling as if you have
Okay, there we go. Let's talk about it. Let's unpack it. And as always, I would love your feedback. I know that video was long, but I think it was super profound. I'd never heard of mirror neurons, but this is the game. It's been the game in the past. They've just used different technology. I mean, newspapers, books, magazines, television shows, news. They've been doing it. I think it's going to be done in a more, it's going to go on steroids is what it's going to get on. Now that they can manipulate images more easily, right? I think it's going to go big. I think it's going to go big. And then it comes back to discernment and knowing, but also having a large body of knowledge to draw from of your own experience and of your own research that you've done. That's going to be critical moving forward as well. See, I think one of the reasons that they make school so freaking stupid and boring is because they want to squash out curiosity. They want to squash out inquisitiveness. They want to squash out seeking knowledge. They just want drones that just hate discovering things on their own. And I see it. I've been there. I see it. They want a drone to hate learning so much on their own that they just take whatever information is implanted into their mind and run with it. That's what I think they want, right? And that's why they distract people. That's why they put all these bread and circuses up. Plus, on the back end, they're making people's attention span shorter than it used to be. Have you noticed this? Because of the way these social media apps are running, they trigger your mind to be like skip ahead so many times. And if you don't have attention span to focus, you're never going to be able to, watch a 20-minute documentary or an hour documentary or a 3-hour documentary like Everything is a Rich Man's Trick on YouTube. That's one of the top 3 documentaries in the Great Awakening Guide at greatawakeningguide.com. There's a quick start in there. The quick start 3 documentaries are, and let me know what you think of these. Number 1 is All Wars Are Bankers' Wars. That's a 50-ish minute documentary, phenomenal. Number 2 is Everything is a Rich Man's Trick. That's the 3-hour plus, phenomenal, because it shifts your mindset to realize, oh yeah, money runs this world. Oh yeah, Ken O'Keefe was right when he said, finance is the head of the snake. If you have money in this world, you can get a lot done. You can start think tanks, and the think tank's objective can be, hey, how can I make more money? How can I snow these mofos more than I already am doing? And the 3rd documentary is The Mystery of Israel at stopworldcontrol.com/Israel. So those are the top 3. But the reality is, if you don't have the mental bandwidth and focus, you're not going to be able to sit through even a few minute video. That video itself was just a couple minutes. And, I realize I just see that attention spans are going down as deep fake and illusion and deception is going up. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And she's on the money talking about, have you ever had this experience where you're thinking about something and then you see an ad for that thing on your social feed, or you're thinking about something and then you see a video about it? I have. And it's only been the last little while. Who is talking about this? Laura Matsu. If you're following Laura Matsu on Instagram, she's phenomenal. And her husband, Gunther Bernhardt. It's either Bernhardt Gunther or Gunther Bernhardt. I always get it mixed up. He's a German gentleman. Phenomenal people that they're talking about how, yes, we're programming AI, but AI is programming us as well. You see this? It's going both ways is what's happening. And most people, myself included, don't know it's going both ways, right? There's a supercomputer, the biggest supercomputer. I think Google has it. I can't remember whether Google has it or another person. And allegedly, if you're in the same room as that supercomputer, it can read your mind. That's some wild shit right there. That is wild. And I know that probably is going on, right? I mean, it's all data, it's all input, it's all information. If ideas, Edison, maybe not have been the greatest guy. Edison said ideas are in the ether. If you get an idea, there's a high probability a number of other people got that idea as well. Could be in different parts of the world. This is why many people believe, hey, you need to roll with an idea super fast, so that you can bring it to market. What's the meaning of super chat? I don't know what the meaning of a super chat is. What do you think it is? But this notion of discernment and knowing, discernment and intuition are huge right now moving forward, because I think it's going to get crazy. I think it's already crazy. And the other thing is, protecting your consciousness to the degree that you can. When I watched her videos, some of the things that I was thinking about was, because I'm deeply involved in the Palestinian issue. I think they've been on the front lines for 77 years, taking a brutal beating from the Western powers. And let's be real, it's England and Israel and the United States that are all in on that. It's the West. That's the tip of the spear, that they want to control and dominate the Middle East. And so I think they've been taking a brutal beating for a long time. And I don't think they have they don't have a lot of people supporting them, at least in the mainstream. It's growing. It's growing. I don't understand the meaning of super chats either. Isn't that where people can pay money to the creator? Isn't that a super chat? Let me know. I think it is. But the discernment and intuition are going to be key moving forward. And our ability to develop the discernment and intuition is going to allow us to navigate the world moving forward. And this is why, and during COVID times, I realized life is not a game. Like, there are real consequences to being disconnected from yourself, to not having the ability to tell whether that guy or that gal is lying to you. That's a real game. That's a real game. I don't know why so many people believed the pharmaceutical company was going to help them in COVID, despite the fact that the pharmaceutical company has a culture of fraud. Their culture is deceit. Their culture is misleading. They make studies appear to promote their products. And then, as recently came out, and I'll be sharing this on my Instagram at GMarkPhillips, beta blockers allegedly, now after 40 years of doctors prescribing beta blockers, a new randomized study, meta-analysis, came to the conclusion that they don't help, and in women they actually harm. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The history of the human experience can be summed up in one word: oops. We always get it wrong until we get it right. And then we still might get it wrong. Like, our ability to know things is so limited, it isn't even funny. And that's why I'm a late adopter. I'm a late adopter on the new Windows. I'm a late adopter on new phones. I'm a late adopter on whatever other type of medical technology. I want to see how it's going to play out. I'm not in any rush to jump into something because of, 40 years later, it might come to the conclusion, it might come to be true that it wasn't even beneficial, Yeah, it's wild. Where are you from? I'm in the US. How's it going? Well, I'm talking about here, and I should play this video again. I'm talking about here in this live stream. I played a Jack Dorsey video, and he was talking about verify, don't trust. Right? A lot of people are trusting in this world because they don't want to take the time to verify. We've been trained to trust. Right? Listen to figures of authority and do what they say. And that's how they get us. And also developing discernment and intuition. That's what's going down. Jack Dorsey, I don't know either. I'm on the fence about it. But again, to your point, I'm assuming when you say I don't like him, you're talking about Jack Dorsey. I get it. I totally get it. However, at this stage in the game where there's so much on the line, right? And there's so much at stake, I have to take information from everyone, regardless of whether they might be a compromised person, because that they may be sharing some good knowledge. Like, I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. If you are in fact referring, I don't doubt that he is that. I don't know him that well, to be honest. But I do know that the more information we acquire, it's all about, this is why we all have to be covert action agents and moving forward. The CIA is effective for two reasons. The first reason is information acquisition, right? Information acquisition. This is why it's so crazy. Like in the information age, the more information you have, the more knowledge you have, the better positioned you will be to navigate the coming future. But the second reason they're effective is because they're very, very good at taking covert action on that information, right? Knowing and doing, that's the game plan. Be and do. Be informed about the world around us. This is why sometimes I call myself a covert action agent for good. And maybe you are that too, because we know there's a battle of good and evil in the world. We know people want to hijack this and modify our behavior. Klaus Schwab tells us, all of them tell us. It's all about behavior modification. Back to the CIA, that's what they do. I would say the bulk of their work is about mind control. You know this? You probably know this. Let me get in here and see what's up. I don't have an OnlyFans. This is my own. This is like my OnlyFans. Information, knowledge acquisition, like right up here. Knowledge is the power. If you know better, you can do better, right? But we are under massive deception, you know. And I think it's going to get worse, like that video showed. You know, it's just one of those things. You know, we're living in this age, but I'll tell you what it's doing. It's forcing people to level up their game. It's forcing people to level up their game, their discernment, their intuition, because nobody wants to get played. Nobody wants to get played. What did Mark Twain say? It's easier to fool a person than convince them they've been fooled. The ego doesn't want to be fooled. It's crazy. When the reality is, if you approach everything in a sense of, I don't know, you're probably going to be okay. And the other thing is, if you look, you're only going to know if you're susceptible to being fooled if you look in the past and see where you've been fooled. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't, what does Socrates say? Something to the effect of, well, here it is. An unlived life is not worth an unexamined life is not worth living, and an unlived life is not worth examining, something to that effect. If you don't examine the past and go, oh, well, I was wrong in those instances, you're not going to be able to correct your thinking and why you were wrong, right? If we don't examine why we're wrong, how are we ever going to be right? Or if we don't examine how we were right, how are we ever going to be more right? Like, human beings need to be really, really right moving forward from this point on, because we're right on the brink of a deep, deep precipice, bad precipice, CBDCs, video surveillance all the time, digital IDs and passports. I mean, they almost have this whole bullshit on us. Like, if there is ever a point in time to put down the freaking distractions and focus on what's happening, it's right now. The reason I think most Americans or people on earth aren't doing it is they don't know the danger that we're in. They don't know that we're right on the brink, right? They just think, because you have generations now that have been conditioned to outsource your thinking to an authority figure, i.e. political figure, public health figure, doctor, whatever else. People don't have to use this, and so we're really in a dangerous situation. That's what I think. And how are you going to use this if you don't practice? How are you going to use it when you need it if you don't practice it when you don't need it? Reading, thinking, going to lectures. One of the biggest things is just learning about things that are outside of your normal thing that you're learning. Create new neural pathways. Right? I'm just diving down this path of flow rope, right? It's this kind of crossing over. Have you heard of this principle where you cross over your center line with the opposite hand, and it does something in the brain, maybe the cerebellum? But if we're not constantly developing ourselves, engaging in social situations, learning new things, going to new places, talking to new people, we're never going to sharpen the mind. And right now, we really need a sharp mind, or else it's going to be really shitty for a lot of people. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Bill Burr's brother. That's the first time I've got that. I usually get Bruce Willis. What else do I get? Timu, Walter White. I laughed my ass off at that one. I'm chosen by God when I'm really lost my legacy. Okay. Anyway, there's my piece. I'll also be sharing that video on my, in fact, let's watch it one more time and then we'll wrap it up. For those who joined late. Because every time I watch it, I learn something new. And then, you go on Instagram and there's 50,000 different things to see. Back to the distraction, right? It's all about the distraction. So here we go. Here it is.
If you have no idea what's even real anymore, you're not alone. So I'm going to share with you a clip of Jack Dorsey speaking about something eerily relevant to how we're all feeling today.
Don't trust, verify. So even this talk, everything I've said, don't trust me. You have to experience it yourself. And you have to learn yourself. And this is going to be so critical as we enter this time in the next 5 years to 10 years, because the way that images are created, deep fakes, videos, you will literally not know what is real and what is fake. It'll be almost impossible to tell. It will feel like you're in a simulation because everything will look manufactured. Everything will look produced. And it's very important that you shift your mindset, or you attempt to shift your mindset, to verifying the things that you feel you need through your experience, through your intuition. Because all these devices in your bags and your pockets, they're offloading from that image of the neuron I sent you. And because all these things are on your phone now, you're not building those connections in your brain anymore.
So let's break this down, shall we? Who has heard of mirror neurons? Your brain has what we call mirror neurons, and they fire off not only when you do something or when you see something, but when somebody else does something. What does that mean? It means that your mind is going to mirror anything that it absorbs, even if it's fake. So let's say you are exposed to a deep fake, well, your mind is going to process it as it's real. Mirror neurons are quite literally how we learn, how we empathize, and how we connect. They are how we perceive and then mirror back the world around us. So take that and now imagine a world where most of what you see is manufactured. I'm telling you the explanation as to why you think of something and then you see it on your phone. But I didn't even say that out loud. You didn't have to. Mirror neurons. Your thoughts, your feelings, your perception can very easily be hijacked when you are absorbing the illusions. And that is why discernment and intuition is the number one thing that you need to work on right now as the world becomes more illusionary. Because if you are relying solely on what is being shown to you, you will be programmed. But if you can stay aligned to that feeling in your gut, that compassion in your heart, that inner knowing that we all have, you will be able to see through the illusion. Are you responding in alignment? Or are you reacting out of emotion? Stop for 1 minute and just ask God, are these thoughts my own? Here's the thing, illusions can only control you when you forget the truth inside of you. And I'm going to say something that some of you might not like to hear, but I'm going to say it because I was there myself. It is so easy to become tethered to the illusions when you haven't stopped to really go in and meet yourself. We have entered a time where it is not going to be about seeing clearly. It is going to be about knowing divinely. So all
right, there it is. Again, every time I watch it, I get different downloads and insights. So yeah, you say I don't look anything like Bill Burr. I don't think I do either. But then again, I don't think I look like Bruce Willis either. But I get that all the time. That's the most common. Oh, the voice. Okay, maybe it was the voice. Okay. I like Bill Burr. I'm a big fan, My friend does this when he wants to provide evidence to support his arguments. So he's like a Jedi mind trick man. Technology and spirituality connect. Wow, yeah. Well, I think that's where they're going. Is like that's what that computer does that reads people's minds in that room I was telling you about. it's a quantum computer. Like it's in the it's allegedly plugged into the quantum field. And where are we plugged into? Well, the quantum field as well, from my understanding. It's wild. It's wild. And I said I was going to wrap it up after that thing, but I want to throw this out there. I think the reason that some people didn't buy into what I feel is the BS, what I feel is a deception during COVID times, is because we didn't watch the news. We weren't listening to the radio. We weren't listening to the fear mongering, the programming, right? All of it. It was next level. I turned it on one time to watch one video and I was like, holy shit, the fear mongering was off the chart. That is mind control to me. That's people trying to manipulate a person's behavior. But that's my theory, is that the reason some people didn't see a problem, regardless of whether there was a problem or not, is because they didn't watch the news. And that's what I still am like that. I'm even more like that now. I treat it like the plague, to be quite honest. Yeah, I don't see the Bruce Willis thing either. Again, it's perplexing to me because I get it all the time, but I don't either. I think people's maybe they're under some mind control stuff. Yeah, they're trying to push into the internet too. It's crazy. You know, the reality is I really honestly think the only way out is to get completely out like the Amish. I don't see another way, you know, which sucks. And maybe it'll be okay, because I just think about technological advances in the first place, even going back to the printing press and then mass production of books. I mean, every time you step further away from a one-on-one interaction with someone who knows deeply something, and you can read them and you can discern them and you can really look at the body language, their energy. Every time you move away from that, the further away from that we move. This is why she's talking about getting into communication with people. Even this, look at this. I could be a deep fake. You know, I could be an AI. I could be an AI Bruce Willis avatar. Look alike. And I'm kidding. Every time we move further away, and now we've got a digital interface, we lose the ability to see that other person. We only have a two-dimensional image, right? And how easy is it to manipulate text on paper? Really easy. I'm doing a deep dive into all the changes in the King James Bible that were made, and all the Bibles, probably all the Bibles that were made to deceive people. And there were a lot of them. My favorite is Ephesians 6:12, right? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities, etc., 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 and the worldly governors. That's the Geneva version. In the King James version, it does not say worldly governors, because I see the worldly governors as sus people, all of them, not just in the US, but all of them. You know, it's the same thing. It's the same thing allegedly the devil offered Jesus. Hey, do you want to go in with me and rule this fallen world? Jesus is like, no, I'm not about that. Do you think some people in this world are going to be about that? You bet. You live in the lap of luxury, the finest things, the finest food, homes, planes, castles, whatever you want. You basically become a king here if you take that deal that allegedly the devil made to Jesus. It seems pretty legit. The worldly governors are my biggest, are my biggest thing. It's not the people that are like, chilling around doing their thing. Anyway, there's my point. Let me see what else you're saying here. Then I got to wrap this up. Like without electricity, it's going to be tough. We become dependent on it. It is going to be tough. I will admit that. I admit that. Thank you for, it is going to be tough. No doubt. But I don't know another way, because if we don't control the technology, which to my knowledge we don't, right? There's no way we can use it to have conversations like this and communicate, etc. But if we don't control, we don't know what's coming through. Like, we don't know what's coming through the television in belief beneath our level of awareness. It's wild. I mean, it could go down the rabbit hole all day, but there's my point. Thanks for checking it out. I appreciate you guys very much. I will chat with you in the next one. If you want to pick up the Great Awakening Guide, you can do it at greatawakeningguide.com. It's all the best resources all in one place. Maybe I need to do version 5. It's on version 4 right now, but anyway, it's also got 31 ways, solutions, action steps, things we can do, because I kept hearing people say, hey, we know what's wrong, what do we do? So there you go. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you very much. Have an awesome day.